everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Keeping Bees. My guest today is Sophia Croker. Sophia has just started a business as a commercial beekeeper, which you can find at thebedrover.com.au and at Fia's Bees on social media. Sophia, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me, Brent.
Now, Sophia, you've grown up in a beekeeping family. What were some of the parts about beekeeping when you were growing up that you really liked?
I love the lifestyle. Um, it's not for everyone. Like we literally were swagging it, basically setting up a stock camp wherever our bees are. And I love traveling. We get to see so much of this land that people will never see. So that is that's my favorite part for sure. It's probably what hooked me in the first place is just being able to travel and camp, literally sleep under the stars every night. Like that's my job. So yeah, I'd say that's the best part.
As a commercial beekeeper, and you said you love travel, how far do you actually travel with your business?
Um, well, at the moment we're up near Cobar, and considering we come from Canberra, we've actually our facilities in Yass, so we're based in Yass. But yeah, Cobar. I can't remember the kilometres off the top of my head, but it's a good 7 hours or so that we travel. We try not to go ridiculously far, but at the same time, if that's where the good conditions are for our bees, that's where we've got to go. So my dad has been further, and my pop, he used to go all the way up into Queensland. So and he was based on the south coast in Ulladulla. So he was traveling. It was a good day's worth of traveling to get to the bees. Um, but at the moment, yeah, the furthest we travel is around up to that Cobar area.
hmm That's a really nice area. I've actually
Yeah,
been there a few times with my dad. I remember once we almost ran out of fuel coming into town because there's not many towns leading up to it where you can actually get fuel. You have to be really careful.
no,
And we actually rolled into
yeah.
Cobar once without any fuel, you know. So we got to the town and rolled in, and just because it is fairly remote, it's a fairly remote part of New South Wales, and you kind of don't expect it until you're out there.
Oh, it definitely. Oh, it is remote. You know you're remote when you're there. Yeah, especially you know you're remote when the properties you're on they farm wild goats. That's when you know you're remote.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I believe you. Yeah, there's not many fuel stations out that way.
Mm. So do you ever get down as low as Victoria?
Yeah, we since I've got into beekeeping, we actually haven't chased any honey into Victoria, but we do go into Victoria for almond pollination around Madura normally. Yeah.
So how long has it been since you've started commercial beekeeping?
Um, I started in 2021, so it's been 5 years since
Excellent.
I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has it been a bit of a learning curve, or did you pick up a lot of those skills throughout your teenage years with your family?
Oh, it's a learning curve. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a learning curve. You don't know until you try it yourself. I have been spoilt though. I've got three generations worth of knowledge to lean on, and it helps when your dad is a commercial beekeeper.
hmm
So, yeah.
So do you want to talk us through the process? You know, let's say, so how old were you when you started?
Um, when I started commercially or just beekeeping.
When you started commercially?
All right, right. Yeah. I was 18 when I started commercially, just fresh out of school. Um, yeah, just went for it
hmm
head first.
And what does it mean to start a commercial beekeeping business as an 18-year-old? Or what's the first step? You know, listeners here might be thinking, that's a cool idea for me, you know, someone who's just finished school. What's the first step you have to take, provided that you already know a little bit about beekeeping?
Well, getting your bees really. I bought bees that were already like I bought a load off a beekeeper that was wanting to downsize and get out of beekeeping a bit. And I I would recommend that if you know they're a good beekeeper and they've got nice colonies, and like no disease and stuff. So I'd suggest that if you're getting into it, because then you've already got your drawn out comb, your established colonies. It's, yeah. But the other way, but either way, getting into beekeeping is not that hard compared to other agricultural industries. Like, it's not like you need to have a property. So even if you go the other route and buy your hive gear and then get your bees, um, either way, either all, yeah, you're on the road to success, I'd say.
So you have to go and buy a load of bees. So I presume you have to go and get finance for that.
Yeah, yeah. I, yeah, had to take out a loan because obviously I didn't have that money fresh out of school. So I went and took out, it was like 40K loan, which was pretty big for me. Um, and yeah, got my bees. But luckily, I'm able to pay that off really, like, pretty quickly. Bees, I don't know, if you run your bees right, you can pay it off. Like, it is a viable business. Now, now with honey prices, I wouldn't say the same thing. But when I started, like, it was pretty sound plan that I get my loan and then I pay it off over a year or so.
And what do you think the learning curve, going back to that again, in the first couple of years, what, despite the fact that you had a bit of knowledge, coming into it, what were the big lessons you feel like you learned in those first couple of years?
Um, I don't know. It would, well, the fact that I went out of school and then was just self-employed, so I had to allow myself to make a living. That was probably the biggest learning curve. Like, um, I don't know, just you got to work hard and stay dedicated and do whatever you must do to make sure your bees are healthy and happy and all that. So I don't know. I just had to grow up really quick and become an adult and yeah, start making my own living. So
Yeah.
I'd say that was probably learning curve. Is just, yeah,
There's no calling in sick, there's no excuses. It's, you're your own
definitely
boss,
not.
so it just comes back to you at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. And it didn't help that I picked a very volatile, high risk industry. Um, but I like a challenge, so it was perfect.
hmm And it's a good time in someone's life to take that kind of risk anyway. At those years,
Definitely.
you could definitely take some good risks in those times. So I think it's a really good age to consider an industry like that.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah. So do you want to talk us through what a year looks like for you in terms of your business?
Yes. So a year. So we have like on season and off season. So we almonds um, starts us off for the year, which is not the start of the year, but it's the start of my year as a beekeeper. And that's about late July. So we start ramping our bees up, make sure they're nice and strong. And then they get put onto the orchards and they stay there for all of August. So that's the first thing is almond pollination. Then from there on, nothing is for certain, but you're chasing honey, given that there is conditions to get honey off. Um, and so then I chase honey until March, and then basically over that period until we get back to July, that's off season. When I say off season, you're still looking after your bees, but it's time to make new gear, fix old gear, do maintenance on all the trucks and extraction facility and all of that, and get ready for another season. So that's really what my year looks like as a beekeeper.
So do you do the truck driving?
Yes, I do. Yes, I can drive a truck, everybody. So you kind of need to for the amount of hives that I'm running. Um, So yeah, I do get around the truck, but luckily my uncle, he's been doing most of the truck driving for me, and my dad as well. So yeah.
So was that one of the things you had to learn when you were 18 as well, how to drive a truck?
No, I didn't learn that until a little bit later because I actually did go to university. So I did both. So yeah, while I was at uni, it was a bit hard to do that as well. But yeah, when I come to the end of my uni degree, I picked that up, started learning. Yeah, chucked in the deep end. And I think when I first started learning, we were hauling to almonds. So Dad would drive to almonds, and I would drive back, and it was a good way to learn. Because it was pretty flat out. It was like 48 hours. I had like 1 hour sleep, and was trying to figure out an 18-speed Road Ranger gearbox. So that was character building.
Yeah, I think it's a really fun lifestyle being a trucker. There's a lot of banter on the radio, and do you get into any of that?
Yeah, yeah, we do. We always have the radio on. We like to hear what's going on around us. And yeah, yeah, I love listening to the two-way conversations. They keep me entertained for sure.
Yeah, it's good fun. So you said before that you sleep under the stars most nights. Um, how long of a stint do you think you go sort of camping at any one given time of the year?
Um, 2 weeks, I'd say, in a row. It could be longer, but I'm going to say around 2 weeks. That gives us enough time to get around to all our loads, pull honey, and then go back in to extract it. Um, so that was at least this season. That was my longest stint, was 2 weeks. Um, but I suspect I will definitely be having longer stints than that in the coming seasons. I'd say I'd probably get up to 3 weeks. Um, yeah, but I'd say 2 weeks if I had to say.
That's a pretty nice lifestyle, isn't it? For someone who likes the outdoors, it sounds
Yes,
like quite a
it
good
is.
industry to be in.
Yeah, yeah, the lifestyles. It's not like anything. I think the only thing that comes close to the beekeeping lifestyle is droving cattle.
Oh, that's excellent. All right. So, Sophia, do you want to tell us a little bit about where people can find your business, what you're offering to the public, and that sort of thing before we finish up?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm the bee drover online, and I'm at the moment selling wax, basically my beeswax from this season. We don't normally sell it off. It's just kind of like a byproduct. But it is premium. Um, and so I decided I'd melt it down and sell it off to all those people that love beeswax, because you can make so many different things with them. So yeah, so you can find me online under the Bee Drover, or if you want to just learn about beekeeping, then yeah, I'm just online as Bees. Yeah, which is my main passion project, is just showing everyone what beekeeping is actually about, because there's lots of misconceptions about that. So yeah.
All right, Sophia, thanks very much, and thanks for being on this episode of Keeping Bees.
Oh, thanks for having me, Brent. It's awesome.